Right now, Pittsburgh's best sports show is about to begin. Call us or tweet us. We've got things to talk about on the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, powered by FanDuel Sportsbook. Josh Taylor in for you on a Saturday night, joined by, from the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, also 93.7 The Fan, Paul Zeise. Paul, good to see you again. Been a while.
Yes, it's been a while since we've gotten to work together, and it's always a fun thing.
Absolutely. Let's we'll talk a little bit of college hoops. We got a lot of that to get into. We can talk some Pirates spring training, a couple things that have happened this week in Pirates camp that are worth discussing. But before we get to that, we got to talk about the big story of the day. Of course, Myles Garrett, in an interview that aired on ESPN on Thursday, he reiterated his claim that Mason Rudolph used a racial slur, that he thinks that was what ignited the brawl with the Steelers and Browns back in November. And, of course, Mason Rudolph, once again, denied it today, used his Twitter account. He called it a bold-faced lie. He also called it a disgusting and reckless attempt to assassinate his character. Rudolph's attorney called the claim ludicrous in the statement that he released. He also said since Garrett made that claim in the state of California, he thinks that Garrett has opened himself up to some legal liability. So there's a lot going on there. Mike Tomlin also issued a statement today supporting Mason Rudolph, and Tomlin said, I support Mason Rudolph not only because I know him, but because I was on the field immediately after that altercation. He also said he spoke with some of the people in the Browns organization both after that game and in the days leading up to that. He said he never got any kind of wind of anything along those lines. And he said specifically, I've received no indication of anything racial or anything of that nature. So it comes down to, it's one of those things. Do you believe it or not? Do you believe what Myles Garrett said? And I thought a couple of people have made some great points, because if indeed, let's say for the sake of argument, Mason Rudolph said it, it does seem like things don't add up on Myles Garrett's end. Is that a fair way to put it?
Well, here's the thing that should be game over for this whole thing. First of all, I think Mike Tomlin's statement is very, very clear. He was there. He was on the field right after it happened. He talked to a number of people. He talked to a number of zone players, and he talked to a number of people in the Cleveland Browns organization. If this actually happened, somebody would have said to him, this is what Myles Garrett said. Or, nobody said that at all. Okay, that's number one. And number two, here's where it's game over for me. Are you ready?
Okay.
All of the people that want so badly to believe that Myles Garrett, what he said, is true, right? They've been saying for weeks and weeks and weeks, or months actually now, if Mason Rudolph really didn't say it, why doesn't he get an attorney and sue? Okay, now here's a guy, now here's a guy who went and got an attorney, and guess what? If you get an attorney, you got to step into a courtroom under perjury is going to, send you to prison. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So to me, the fact that he's willing to go into a courtroom and say, I didn't say this, it should be over. But, of course, there's a group of people who just want to make this narrative true. Many of them are Cleveland Brown fans, and many of them are, what I call the woke brigade, woke brigade.
Some of those Cleveland Browns fans are in my family.
But you know what I'm saying? The woke brigade, the ESPNs of the world that want this narrative, you know what I mean? It's just like, listen, I mean, every time somebody claims this, it's not true. And often it is. And often it gets covered up. And often in the past it's been buried. I get all that. Believe me, I've been and you just like you. I mean, we've experienced it. But
it's something you can't avoid.
Stuff like this doesn't help the cause that you're trying to help if you just blindly accept every single time one of these claims is made. And I think that's the biggest problem here, is that there are too many people still who are afraid to take this on and say, you know what, Myles, there's nothing here. This doesn't add up. And until that happens, he'll be able to tell his tale, and there'll be enough people that believe it. But that's what I like about what Mason Rudolph did. Okay, you know what? I'm going to go into court now where I have to tell the truth, and so do you.
I think you add that with everything you mentioned about Mike Tomlin making his statement, it really does look like a lot of things. Even if what he said is true, at least Mason Rudolph has his ducks in a row to where it looks like things are more on his side than they are on Myles Garrett's side. I think that's the difference.
Absolutely. I mean, that to me is, he came out pretty quickly this morning or whatever after that nonsense. He had his lawyer say, you want to talk about two organizations that just don't know how to do things? The Browns, look at how they handle things, and look at how the Steelers handle things. I mean, Burt Loughton had a very, they did it the right way and basically just said, we're going to blow this out of the water and hopefully we're done with it.
I thought the fact that Mike Tomlin, whom you very seldom hear from in February, unless he's playing in the Super Bowl, you very seldom hear from him between the end of the season and the draft. For the fact for him to make this kind of statement on this type of situation on a Saturday morning, pretty much out of nowhere after the league season's long over, I think that's something that sticks out, that probably tells you both A, how serious it is for the Steelers, and B, how serious they were taking it in order to try to get rid of it. In the meantime, we need to take a break. We come back. We're taking your phone calls, 412-575-2600 on the Borders and Borders hotline. We'll talk more about this. We got college hoops to talk about. We got spring training as well. Josh Taylor, Paul Zeise. See you in a few.
The Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call is brought to you by Ireland Contracting, putting new roofs on Pittsburgh homes for over 25 years. Call Ireland Contracting at 1-800-NEW-ROOF.